Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. There's nothing too huge to cover, so this is just sort of like a recap of a lot of little things that have popped up in the last sort of like week or two that I just want to kind of quickly go over that I haven't already covered in a news video. So we'll start with this. This was mentioned in the comments of one of my Avatar Generations videos that I put up. Someone asked the question, who is the other character alongside Korra on the character summon ticket icon in the game? So I posted this online, and other people seemed to grab this as well and post it themselves, and it took off a little bit. Probably went a bit further and was made it to be a little bit more dramatic than it actually was. But obviously, a bit of a mysterious character here, because he doesn't obviously resemble any character that we particularly know about. You know, you could throw out, like, is it Zuko? It doesn't really look like Zuko. Is it Jet? It doesn't really look like Jet. Kai doesn't really look like him either. So who is this character? A lot of people were going with the idea that, oh, what if this is a really early look at the Avatar after Korra? And it's like, I think they've barely touched on this stuff internally at Avatar Studios. So I doubt they've slipped an early image teaser of him into the game in a ticket icon, because the game, like, apart from little visuals like this that have, like, say, Korra, the intro showing other avatars, the game is very Avatar The Last Airbender focused so far, entirely basically. So Korra being here is one of the few, like, non-Avatar things, like, in the game. So this is a little bit interesting to see this character here. Now, apparently one of the devs on the Discord, the official Discord for Avatar Generations, gave an answer to this, and he said that this is a nameless hero on the 5-star character summon ticket icon. Now, make of that what you will. That's an interesting phrasing of this, because obviously the idea is that if you use this item in game, you get a guaranteed 5-star character. And 5-star characters are obviously typically notable characters, because most of them from, like, the main summon thing are like 4-star characters. So if you pull a 5-star character, it's very, very notable. That's why, like, this is actually a really notable item if you get one. So Korra, obviously, you know, everyone's going to want a 5-star Korra at some point. But who is this random other 5-star character? So they're saying nameless at the moment. And is that meant to mean, like, random, like, don't think about it? Or is that meant to be, it's a new character who we can't reveal the name of yet? I still would not lean towards Avatar after Korra. I'm thinking this is probably just a other new character who we haven't seen yet, who will probably make an appearance in one of the new kind of, like, areas, or when they introduce new content into the game. That's my thoughts on it right now. But just note that little update on it, that the devs clarified this as being a nameless hero. Make of that what you will. Next, Loot Crate. So I obviously posted my opening of the water Loot Crate about a week ago or so, and I did contact them about, hey, got the water one, I liked it, what's up with the other ones that you had planned initially? And I got a reply back. And this is what I was told. Unfortunately, we will no longer be launching the Avatar Elemental Crate Collection. The crate is now a one-time only premium and limited edition crate. So they are going to be one and done with the water crate. So that means that no other element pins, that 4-figure kind of combined kind of thing, doesn't seem to be happening. And I'm not sure what the deal is, because again, all that stuff was apparently made exclusively for Loot Crate, and I assume they haven't actually, you know, ordered the other stuff for that was meant to be in the coming crates to be made yet. So, you know, there's no guarantee that that stuff ever even comes out. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but given the situation of, like, where Loot Crate are as a company and how unreliable they are, it might be for the best that they're not doing anymore. Next, again, Avatar Generations, just to highlight that they do actually have official social media channels. They're on Twitter officially, they're on Instagram officially, they have their official YouTube channel. So if you want to stay up to date with the game, I'd definitely recommend following some of these things, because they're posting a couple of interesting bits and pieces. There are interesting new art assets associated with this game, and they're obviously going to post them, as you can see with this Iroh, on their social medias. But one of the things they posted, I think it's like 5 days ago at this point, is that they posted where the pre-registration progress is. So as of 5 days ago, I think they hit, or I suppose it's like 6 days ago at this point, they hit 50,000 pre-registrations, meaning we've hit all but one of the pre-registration goals ahead of the launch. The final one is the 100,000 pre-registrations, at which point we will unlock the Healer Aang character, which I don't even have in the game. I've used that character once or twice in the kind of like skill mastery little battles that you do, but you'll actually get that character, which is kind of nice. And then also a 5-star character summon ticket, which is what this is. You'll get one of these, which definitely I want. I feel like I'm desperate for a new character, and getting a guaranteed one would be very, very nice. So again, pre-register if you want. I'm assuming they are probably very close to that, because again, they seem to get through that like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 quite quickly. So I assume it's, given that it's nearly been a week since their last update, they're probably on the verge of hitting 100,000 and completing that kind of pre-registration drive. So that's where that is as we wait for the launch of the game, which again, back when the trailer came out, they said was going to be a couple of weeks. So I don't think that's meant to be a long-term thing. It'll happen, I think, sooner rather than later. Next, this is a very interesting one. So Avatar News posted this, but this was actually something Jeremy Zuckerman posted on his Instagram. He posted it as a story, which I don't think it's available anymore because that's what that thing is. But anyway, he posted this video of basically the mixing going on for the Avatar The Last Airbender soundtrack. Now, I don't think technically in the video they say specifically what this is and what it means, but why else are they like officially mixing Avatar The Last Airbender soundtrack music, given everything that we now know? The podcast interview where Mike, Brian, and Jeremy Zuckerman were all like, yeah, very positive about the soundtrack happening. He then followed that up with an Instagram post a couple of weeks after that, posting like pictures of a score, a live score for Avatar soundtrack. And now this, the mixing of a piece of music from the soundtrack. It's happening. Like, it is happening. It is just not like 100% confirmed, because there's obviously no listing up for it. That basically until pre-orders effectively go up, or there's a proper news announcement that like the Avatar Last Airbender soundtrack will be released, it's hard to fully commit to it. But it's like, what else is needed other than just that for confirmation this is happening? In the video, I think they're mixing the Agni Kai music soundtrack, so the one from episode 3 where it's Zhao versus Zuko in the Agni Kai. Very classic, memorable piece of music, so they're clearly doing that. It does mean that I think speculation now probably has to move on to sort of what way are they going to release the soundtrack. Like, they have all of Avatar and basically all of Korra to release again. Because even though they released a CD for Korra Book 1, they will re-release Book 1. There's no way I think they'll just skip that. Because there's probably a few tracks from Book 1 that they still need to include in it. The question's going to be, are we getting a Avatar Book 1 soundtrack, then Book 2, then Book 3, or are we getting a complete Avatar soundtrack? Then with Korra, again, are we doing Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, Book 4, complete Korra? Or are they trying to release a giant, like, full Avatar collection where it's Avatar and Korra? I'm not really sure. It depends on what way they want to market this, what way they want to try and kind of make the money off this. Like, is this just going to be a digital thing, or will they actually, you know, put out CDs and kind of vinyl, I suppose, has been making a comeback? Like, will they make a bit of a kind of collector's thing out of this? Because I think if there's anything the fandom would really go in for, it would be a really nice, like, physical set of the soundtrack that has like some extras, some interview content. That would be really, really cool if they did that. But it seems like the soundtrack is basically happening. We just don't have the full-on official announcement just yet. Next up, again, I think I already posted about this in one of my videos, and that's just to say that, again, The Bushiroad English Winter Conference 2023 is happening tomorrow, January 28, 2023. So I don't know if we know for sure, but there will be some expectations that at the very least the Avatar set will get a mention here. Again, it is an English edition original, so I think they're going to mention it at the English conference, given that the products were just officially announced not that long ago. And there's still some stuff to talk about, like when they say showed up on screen, will they finally have the visuals of what the packaging is going to look like? Will they show off any cards? How big of a deal are they going to make out of it? That's the kind of main thing here. But January 28th, here's the timing of it if you want to watch. Again, keep in mind, if you do decide to watch the whole thing, they'll be going through Cardfight Vanguard, Vanguard Zero, Weiss Schwarz, and their new Shadowverse Evolve game. It won't be all about Weiss Schwarz. So it's like, a 2-hour long event that you will basically be waiting for maybe 2 minutes of. So for most people, you probably don't need to watch the full thing. The video will be, I suppose, live afterwards still, I guess, and they'll do it then. So just keep that in mind. But, I'd like to get more information on the Weiss Schwarz card game. Then I just want to quickly mention this, because, I think hype is building for, like, what's going to be the first big announcement of the year. Sure, Avatar Generations has been, like, the first kind of thing that's properly happened in the year. But what about the other stuff we're kind of waiting for? So, Azula and the Spirit Temple, of course, it was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con, and they said, notably, summer 2023. They gave us a release estimate without it being a proper, reveal. Now, why don't we know when this book is coming out? Why hasn't it been announced already, now that we're in 2023, we're nearly into February? So what happens here is it's a comic, so it's going to get announced first either by book solicitations or comic solicitations. Comic solicitations are a little bit easier to keep track of, because of course they happen every single month from all the major companies. The January release of solicitations for Dark Horse was called the April 2023 solicitations. These were for basically single issue comics that are coming out April 2023, but also, if you look through that list, it is also for graphic novels scheduled for June 2023. So it's somewhat confusing in terms of, like, this is basically an article that goes live in January promoting comics for April, but then graphic novels for June. But you can keep track of it from there. In that next month, the February solicitations are going to be the May 2023 solicitations for May single issues and also July graphic novels. Meaning that Azula and the Spirit Temple was not solicited by Dark Horse this month. So if they're going to hit summer, it will have to be announced either in February or in March for a July or an August release. Otherwise, it's technically not coming out in summer, because then it would have to be either September or after September, which is no longer in summer. So we'll see what happens here. Has this been delayed already? We don't really know for sure. But just keep in mind that it taking a while to be announced, yes, it's frustrating, but technically we're still not quite in the month where I suppose it would technically be announced just yet, but we're definitely in the range. So I think it has to be within the next couple of weeks when we find out about this. Then I think we have to talk about Avatar Legends role-playing game. Of course, yesterday I got my stuff. I posted my unboxing video. So after quite a long wait for myself, being among kind of some of the last stuff to get shipped out, they're still encountering quite a lot of shipping issues. So they actually just said this. They posted on their kind of comment section saying this, that there appears to be bigger problems than we maybe thought with a lot of their EU stuff. A lot of stuff that isn't yet to ship. We have been in constant contact with our fulfillment partner, and after repeated promises, it's become very apparent that they are not managing these orders properly. We'll have an update shortly for the EU region addressing the issue as we work to find the best solution to this problem. Thank you so much for your patience. And obviously, like, people have been very patient. There's been constant delays, and look, some of this is out of Magpie's hands at this point because it's mainly these other companies. I'm guessing it's some combination of ShipBob and Every that are causing the issues here, maybe related to that. I'm not particularly sure what exactly is happening. Is it specific countries that this is affecting more than others? I've no clue. All I know is that, like, while I was waiting for mine to arrive, I definitely noticed, like, the tracking through the process was maybe a little bit, like, slower than you'd maybe think. It felt like it just lingered in each section of the tracking for longer than you maybe would have expected. But there is also the situation, like, they chose these companies fundamentally, so it is on them. And people are growing more and more frustrated, you know, like they're getting a mix of, you know, oh, got my stuff in, it looks really good, but the common criticism seems to be that the packaging is just not up to standard. Like, a lot of people, I think, are just getting very lucky that despite their box looking terrible, like my box was, the stuff inside is actually okay. But there still seems to be so much damage, and they seem to just be taking the approach that, like, if you submit anything for damage, they're going to send you replacements. So at least they're trying to do that. Like, I just posted that, like, yeah, there's no problems with my stuff. But you can see here that there's also a lot of people getting frustrated that, like, you know, either they're either people are not hearing anything about their shipping, so it's still just stuck where, like, they don't even have a tracking number yet, or for weeks upon weeks it has been just stuck at a specific section somewhere, and no one knows what's happened here. So again, it's becoming more and more clear. The takeaway, and I think they have to post about this at some point, I hope once they're done with the shipping, that they do a sort of a final post that kind of covers stuff like, here's what we learned, here's what we'll be doing going forward with future campaigns. We won't be using X company, we won't be using Y company. We know what not to do now. That there needs to be some of those takeaways from this. But I think at least they're acknowledging at this point that things have gotten a little bit out of hand, and that they are doing everything that they can, but there are just lots and lots of problems. And I think there are even more frustrations about that because of this. Because the retail release has happened. Since the 25th, people have just been able to buy this. Even if you weren't part of the Kickstarter, Magpie are selling this stuff online. Now, of course, if you got it on Kickstarter, you got better value on the amount of stuff that we actually got. Just for example, like, say what I got was the special cover core book and the Wan Chi Tong Adventure Guide, not even including the other stuff. That's already like $120, which is that's more than what I paid for all of my stuff and shipping. And then if you add all the extra stuff in, 25, 20, 20, 15, 10, 10, you know, it adds up. And so when they say that, like, on the Kickstarter you got more value, you absolutely did. But for some people, they're just kind of like, I really just want the book at this point. The fact that it probably might be quicker for a lot of people to just literally order it now than wait for the thing they pre-ordered like a year and a half ago, it's not a great look. Now, I'm guessing in Magpie's plans, they felt that January 25th, they would potentially only have to be dealing with, like, the last couple of, like, stragglers with the orders, that they beat through basically all regions except maybe some of the Asia stuff, and a couple of people who had, like, really crazy stuff happen to their orders. Instead, they have still what looks like a couple of thousand EU orders, basically the entire, Middle Eastern regions, Asian regions, and so on, and remaining orders from other places as well, the kind of oddball stuff. All of their estimates have sort of fallen through, and now they're in this really just awkward situation. And again, it's getting to the point where, like, you know, I obviously am at the point now where I want to just know what's happening with the supplement books. And especially through the Kickstarter, I would like them to say what the situation is, because it is weird that they're almost like refusing to mention it, even though it's been, like, officially announced. And as much as there's been problems here, the Kickstarter at least has given everyone a clear way to purchase the books, whereas obviously the shipping on the Magpie website is kind of excessive for a lot of regions. So if they offer in some way to order through the Kickstarter, I think I'd prefer to do that than having to go through the Magpie website, and because I have no clue or anywhere around me where actually sells this in terms of other retailers. So it's a bit of an odd situation. But anyway, that's been the news. We are just at in a situation where we are just waiting for the bigger pieces of news to happen. You know, the Azula comic to get announced, the Yang Chen book 2 to get announced, the Netflix live action show to finally get an update. Because that's the thing, there's been a lot of, I think, teases and speculation with that. And I think the rumors are suggesting with the Netflix show that, okay, summer is when it's actually going to sort of release at some point. That seems to be pretty common speculation from a lot of people in the know. The question is just that, like, we don't know when we're going to get our first look, when the marketing is going to start. So it's currently just in that mode where it's just like, oh, there's this event coming up where Netflix theoretically could do stuff at, maybe it will be here. And that's where we're going to be at with like Avatar Studios news coming up in terms of like the earnings call. If they do an investors event in February, we're going to be like, will there be Avatar Studios news there? San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, will there be news there? And it's the same with the Netflix show. It's just like, oh, there's the Super Bowl's coming up. Will they put the first trailer for the Avatar live action show on at the Super Bowl? Maybe, but I don't think it's in any way confirmed or like insider rumored as such. It's just the next obvious kind of big situation where, you know, something could actually happen. So we're just waiting for everything to kind of kick off. Interestingly, again, there's been really no merchandise news also this year yet. So we'll see what happens there. But in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on all of this news. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.